Hello and welcome to Mad About Superheroes Comic Book Spotlight. Today we shine a light on the Batman comic book adaptation of the Warner Brothers movie. Among a slew of big tentpole films, including Back to the Future 2, Lethal Weapon 2, and The Last Crusade, to name a few, Batman reigned supreme at the box office. The summer of 1989, moviegoers were caught up in Batmania, myself included. Though I was already a fan of the Batman DC comic books, the 1966 Batman television series, and the Super Friends cartoon series, the Warner Brothers Batman movie, directed by Tim Burton, starring Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton, reinvigorated my enthusiasm for Batman. I saw the film twice in theaters, and though it was released about 6 months later on home video, it seemed like such a long wait. In the meantime, to hold me over, I had the Prince Batman soundtrack, the Batman Souvenir magazine, the Toy Biz Batman action figure, and my prized possession at the time, the Batman DC comic book adaptation of the Warner Brothers movie. Reading this comic over and over again was the next best thing to watching the movie over and over again. And I read and looked at this adaptation more times than I can count. I still own both copies that were released back in 1989, the Prestige format and the Standard format editions. DC has more recently released the Deluxe edition as well. So if you want to get your hands on a copy, it's still available. The comic adaptation opens with a film strip unraveling, with illustrations beautifully depicting the movie's opening. A family has lost their bearing in grimy, gritty Gotham City. One wrong turn takes them down a dark alley, where they become victims of an assault and mugging. The muggers seek solace on a nearby rooftop. While they count their loot, unbeknownst to them, they are being stalked. The shadowy figure reveals himself and makes short work of the muggers. "Don't kill me! Don't kill me!" exclaims the mugger. "You're trespassing, rat breath," replies Batman. "Trespassing? You don't own the night," says the mugger. "Tell your friends. Tell all your friends. I am the night," proclaims Batman. Wait, that's not how it happened in the movie.
What are you? I'm Batman.
Yeah, that's more like it. The differences in the comic book adaptation and the actual film are trivial and don't change the overall story. The opening scene just establishes Batman as a crime fighter in Gotham City and is disconnected from the main plot. When crime boss Carl Grissom sets up his number one guy, Jack Napier, to take a fall at Access Chemicals for making time with his girl, Jack is surrounded by Commissioner Gordon, the Gotham City Police, and has a destined encounter with whom most Gothamites believe to be an urban legend, the Batman. In a desperate attempt to escape the clutches of the Dark Knight, Jack fires off a shot from his gun. Batman blocks the bullet, which ricochets off his cape, grazing Jack's face. He loses his footing, sending him over the ledge of the platform they're on. Batman quickly grabs Jack's hand in an attempt to prevent him from falling. Jack struggles to reach up, but he loses his grip and plunges into a vat of chemicals and is presumed dead. A short time later, after an unsuccessful plastic surgery attempt, a disfigured Jack re-emerges as the Joker and begins a takeover of organized crime in Gotham City, starting with the execution of boss Carl Grissom. Joker then sets a deadly plan into action to disfigure Gotham citizens with a lethal combination of chemicals mixed into health and beauty products. Thus begins the struggle between the Dark Knight and the Clown Prince of Crime. Meanwhile, photojournalist Vicky Vale and investigative reporter Alexander Knotts have their sights set on exposing the Batman myth in Gotham City. Coincidentally, Bruce Wayne begins dating Vicky Vale, and Joker ends up stalking her. The trio converge in an all-out action sequence in the Gotham City Museum, which leads into the city streets, which reveals the best Batmobile of all time. When Batman thwarts Joker's plan to taint health and beauty products, Joker resorts to a more direct approach and decides to gas the attendees at the parade of the Gotham City 200th anniversary celebration. Batman intervenes once again, swooping onto the scene with his high-flying Batwing, stealing Joker's poison gas balloons and releasing them far from harm's way. In the finale, Joker kidnaps Vicky Vale with Batman in hot pursuit. They end up atop Gotham City Cathedral, and the Dark Knight and the Clown Prince of Crime have their final showdown. The comic book adaptation still retains some of the controversial flaws of the film. The Joker murders Batman's parents, Alfred lets Vicky Vale into the Batcave, and Batman kills the Joker. But nevertheless, much like the film itself, the comic adaptation still manages to be absolutely awesome. The Batman comic book adaptation is written by Dennis "Denny" O'Neil, one half of the creative team that made Batman cool again. The other half is, of course, the influential artist Neal Adams. Though Batman's debut in Detective Comics number 27 featured a Caped Crusader that was a dark, shadowy figure of the night, the Dark Knight detective would later transition into more kid-friendly territory. Introducing the kid sidekick Robin was only the first step into trimming away Batman's rougher edges and into wackier hijinks. The 1966 television series took the camp approach even further and was a hit with TV audiences, creating a phenomenon. The campy approach was a bona fide successful formula that wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. That is until the creative dynamic duo of O'Neil and Adams. They rightfully returned Batman to his darker roots. Their legendary run on Detective Comics paved the way to Frank Miller's Batman: The Dark Knight Returns and Alan Moore and Brian Boland's Batman: The Killing Joke, which in turn influenced the darker approach of the Batman movie. The artwork by Jerry Ordway is incredible. Ordway is a master of his craft, having illustrated comics for both Marvel and DC for decades, drawing not only Batman, but Fantastic Four, Superman, and Shazam, to name a few. Ordway's art on the Batman comic adaptation is spot on. He really captures the likenesses of all the actors from the film. He also captures the film's atmosphere and aesthetic. I'm especially impressed with how Ordway draws the movie version of the Batsuit and the awesome design of the Batmobile. Jerry Ordway's art on the Batman comic book adaptation, along with his artwork on the Power of Shazam graphic novel, are hands down two of my personal favorites. The colors by Steve Oliff also contribute in a big way to the look and feel of the book. Really top-notch talent on a comic adaptation that turned out to be something extremely special. The '89 Batman movie incited a resurgence in interest in the '66 Batman television series. It inspired Batman the Animated Series, highly influenced the comic book genre of films, and created a merchandising bonanza, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Without a doubt, the Batman comic book adaptation is a definite highlight of the era. For anyone who missed out on the Batman comic book adaptation, I'd highly recommend getting yourself a copy. It's a must-have for any Batman '89 fan, and it really is the next best thing to watching the film itself. Thanks for letting your geek flag fly with Mad About Superheroes. Please like and share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and feel free to comment down below.